Any chance you could spare fuel filter? A fuel filter? I'm afraid our supply recently ran out. Pascal makes some for us, so you can pick one up directly if you like. Pascal? You know him? You trade with the enemy? His village is different. They never caused us any harm. No way, forget it. This may be hard to understand, but we forged an alliance and trade materials with them. We can't be picky about how we reach our goals around here. And besides, we aren't so far gone that we kill machine life forms after they surrender. Well, at least I didn't. Can I not upgrade weapons? You become a true leader. Let's compare to Rose. Oh. Actually, well, I have the records stored on the external drive. I thought I should preserve memories of the time we fought together. I think you have the right to see them. You know, I must never forget. I know. My name is Anemone, and I lead the Android Resistance. This is a record of the battles I've experienced and my losses. I leave it here as a warning to myself. Machine lifeforms attacks land far too close for comfort. I smell an acid odor and know that some of my hairs have been acid odor singed off. For now, that's an order. That's my Captain Rose. I obey her without hesitation. Waiting from the front as soon as I take out a few nearby enemies. Feet flying beneath me. I leap into the hastily built trench where my resistance comrades were gathered. How many battles is this now? Same sights and sounds. Same struggle of attrition. Resistant forces play the same war on repeat with no end in sight. I do not remember why we're fighting anymore, but I must continue regardless. I must continue on one side or the other is dead. This looks bad. Shion? What should we do now? Calm down, Lily. We'll find an opening somewhere. Don't search for an opening, you make one. You don't search for an opening. Daniel, wait. I grabbed Dahlia's arm before she could flee the trench and turned to Rose. She brought us here after all. She must have a plan of some kind. But as the enemy hordes close in, Rose simply squints off in the distance. There's been a change in enemy movement, she says finally. Someone just started fighting over there. But that's not possible. Stammers Margaret. We're all here. There are only 9 of us left, capable of fighting the machines. Captain Rose, Gabriel, Lily, Sonia, Erika, Margaret, Shion, Dahlia, and me. And Manol. All that's left of the 8th Desert Forces. The one that took place 200 years ago. And then easy Sonia pulls Shion close and chews on a loose strand of hair. I don't like it, she says. What if it's some kind of machine trap? I wait for a while, heart pounding, until I hear the enemy fire lessen. Okay, I say, this looks like a chance, let's pull back. Someone's fighting over there, cries Dahlia. Can't abandon them. Oh, so you won't risk all our lives for some stranger? Come on. You don't even know if this mysterious fighter is on our side or not. Not what I said. Enough, you two. Backs. Shion. The captain makes the final decision on this. After Shion speaks, all of us turn to Captain Rose. She looks at us in the eyes and nods slowly before starting to speak. The enemy's heading towards the explosives we set earlier, yes? Gebra? Thanks for a moment, now you mention it. Yeah, they are. A slight smile crossed Rose's face, yet she still seems pretty composed. Good. Then if it goes well, we might be able to take them all out. I want all of you to leave the trench and get to the explosives, says Rose. We'll let the blast take out most of them and clear up the stragglers. Identifying our unknown mystery figure can wait until we're done. No one objects to the captain's decisions. The moment she issues an order, we all leap from the trench as one and we enter the fray. When we reach the battle, we find what appears to be another set of androids dressed in strange black outfits. Before they even knew what's happening, we detonate the explosives, kill the remaining machines, and turn our guns in their direction. Alright, I say to the strangers, start talking. Easy, says one of the mysterious androids. We're on your side. With the new models rolled out as part of something called Project Yoha. Really? I say, we haven't heard anything about new models. I probably speak with more bluster than necessary, but I have to make sure they're actually on our side. I don't think they're lying, necessarily, but I can't read the expressions thanks to the giant goggles they wear. And frankly, a little caution never goes amiss in the middle of a war. We learned that the 4 androids refer to each other as number 2, 4, 16, and 21. So it's 2B, 4, or 16. They also don't hurry to share much more. Our mission is top secret, one of them says. That's why you haven't heard about us yet. I slowly drew my knife in an attempt to gauge the reaction. So in other words, no one will know any better if I kill you right now. Stand down, Anemone. I can never say her name. Rose, says Rose softly. No, cried Lily, she's right. We've all seen how quickly the enemies are evolving. Who's to say these 4 aren't machines that just look human? My comrades nod in agreement. This damn war has made us all suspicious. One of the strangers, number 16 I believe, draws a long knife from its sheath. If it's a fight you want, she says, I am happy to give you. Before I respond, Dahlia leaps in front of me with a weapon at the ready. This is it, we're going to fight. But just before the battle can erupt, the android core number 2 steps forward. Wait, she says. There used to be 16 of us, says number 2. But the others died during the desert. We're isolated and alone. We're isolated and alone out here. Reinforcements aren't coming, and that means we have to finish the mission with the soldiers we have left. We don't need more enemies right now. What we need is allies. She finished the speech with a soft sigh, as if trying and failed to hold her emotions in check. I know that sort of voice. It's the voice of someone who still has hope despite all the odds. Whew. According to the art team, there's an enemy server beneath Mount Kala. If we could take it out, we might finally gain some ground in this endless war. But in order for that to happen, we need to work together. After a bit though, Rose decides to throw in with the new models. It's a relationship that changes as time goes on. What are you doing, Dahlia? Just showing this idiot how weak she is, replied and whined Dahlia. Ha, wheezes her opponent, number 16. You're obviously outmatched. The two of them are taking turns hitting each other. Seems friendly enough as things go on. Plus they've been doing it for so long now that both of them are out of energy. It's like they couldn't punch through a piece of paper at this point. The rest of the group stares at the combatants and try not to grin. Dahlia number 16 seem to butt heads over the smallest little things. Maybe it's because they're so much alike. It's almost annoying how quickly muscleheads learn to like one another. The rest of us converse as Dahlia and 16 continue to spar. We call each other by names that they give us, explains Rose. I see, responds number 4. I thought it strange that you didn't use code numbers. She nods while she speaks as though this all makes perfect sense. Suddenly, Captain Rose breaks out into a wide grin. You know what she says? I think we should give all of you names as well. No, says number 2. It would be a waste. Rose eyes her wearily. A waste? You can name me when the mission is over, she replies, as a blush rises in her cheeks. I could tell her words also serve as a wish for success. Alright, responds Rose. I think of a name for you by then. She knows this is a fleeting promise, as much as such things are, but it doesn't matter. Already I could see us growing closer to the Oha team. Well, my friends are growing closer to them at least. You're being careless, I state, much louder than I intended. Luckily, the others didn't hear and decided to ignore it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not about to go against the captain's judgment, but that doesn't mean I'm ready to just lie down and trust our new friends. Ours is a solitary existence that has long since been abandoned by the moon. No matter how they cried, mourned, or struggled, the voices of the departed comrades went unanswered. So how can you trust an entire squad of new models that you just met? What's wrong, Anemone? I heard Lily calling to me. She's slightly concerned about me being apart from the rest of the group. Nothing, I began. Before I could complete my thought, Lily suddenly opened her mouth in the midst of a terrible scream. Lily's scream echoes through the entire camp. It's heartbreaking, it's agony, it's horrible. She's infected, screams Rose. Lily's infected? We all draw our weapons out of instinct as much of anything else, pointing them at our comrade. As she continued to scream and scream and scream. We all know what's happened. We've seen it before. It's a logic virus. A machine weapon that hijacks Android's system and overwrites their data. And since there's no cure, it's also a death sentence. I need to show her mercy. I need to set her free. My fingers rest on the trigger, yet I hesitate. And before I can make that final fateful decision, I hear her voice rise up from somewhere behind me. Stop. You can't do this. I hear a voice. You can't just let your friend die. It's number 21. The girl I thought to be cool and composed beyond any measure was now pleading with me to spare Lily's life. What do I do? What the hell do I do? Lily said you were like a family to her. You can't abandon family, not before you exhaust every possibility. What can you do then? I'll use my power to erase the virus. That's impossible. Rose spat out what we were all thinking, but before we could act, Lily starts to send nearby comrades flying with impossible strength. I've seen infected androids before. I know how much damage they could do once the virus turns off the limiters. They fight and fight until they're utterly destroyed. Dahlia and number 16 rush into the fray, trying to suppress their former friend, but she sorts them away like flies. How many of us have been infected now? How many friends have I been forced to put down? The heart I'm not supposed to have aches with the thought. It aches as I remember all the infection numbers that have been retained. When did I start giving them names? When did I decide I simply can't endure it any longer? Initiating reprogramming sequence. That voice, number 21, she's screaming something about reprogramming. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. As my vision slowly clears, I see number 21 inputting commands into a terminal while number 2 and number 4 hold her down. They hold her as she writhes and both stares at me with surprise. Oh no. I'm holding Lily too. Huh. So she said she killed 21. Hmm. "14th Machine Work, Pearl Harbor Descent. The name of the mission entrusted to the Oha soldiers. Was there ever such ferocious gunfire, such bombings that continued without pause? Our target is the machine server under Mount Kala, and our situation is dire. We need reinforcements requests deployed at once. Number 2 speaks quickly yet calmly, which is more remarkable considering the hostile army closing in on our position. But the command center in the orbiting satellite informs us no reinforcements will be forthcoming. We are abandoned. We are alone. So easy to do from up there, from a satellite, from the moon. I'll do whatever is necessary, says Lily with a grim smile. Looks like Lily did get saved. Dahlia and Margaret quickly nod in agreement, as does number 16. They decided to join the rear guard, staying behind to be our shield, even though it comes at the cost of their own lives. Regardless, they all agreed without hesitation. For we in the Vanguard will be joining them in death soon enough. Without another word, we turn our backs to each other and take positions. We know this is the end. Dahlia and the others would buy us time to reach the gate at Kala's peak. Beyond that lies the elevator, and beyond that is the server. If we destroy that, it will be a real devastating blow to the machine life forms throughout the Pacific region. But as I noticed, number 21 scowling at the elevator, I start to have a bad feeling about the final stage of our mission. Go on, she says, I've got this. Crowded into the elevator, she begins hacking the terminal. She doesn't need to tell us what's happening. It's clear that the elevator won't descend all the way to the server unless someone stays behind to control it. Enemies incoming. They're almost on us. As I speak, I suddenly find myself leaping from the elevator and taking up a position at number 21's side, almost as if my body's out of control. Something is wrong. Something... I'll back up number 21. I cry. The rest of you take on out the server. The doors close on my friends, and the last thing I could see is the face of my captain, Rose. She looks concerned, but then the doors shut and she is no more. That was the last time I ever saw them. But it's alright, I'm going to finish this one way or another. The only sound we hear are distant explosions and the rasp of number 21's breathing. Thank you, she whispers, for staying with me. I look at her eyes, and see the telltale red of the logic virus infection. I was right, after all. I sigh softly as I drew my weapon. I do wonder, how the infection spreads. I've seen comrades infected before. That's why I couldn't leave her to die alone. The vaccine she gave Lily is already ineffective. The enemy has evolved. They study number 21's patterns and developed a new resistance. No one can save her now. When the elevator reaches the server, begins number 21 weakly. Then I'll give you peace, I reply. Then the elevator moves even lower, creating a countdown on number 21's life. How much time has passed? How much can possibly be left? Too long to wait, yet not long enough for regret. A massive explosion echoes in the distance as the horse slowly shakes. It's the final act of Lily and the others in the rear guard. They just overloaded their own fusion reactions. The sounds of our comrades' demise slowly fades from our ears. As it does, number 21 reaches up and slowly removes her goggles. I'm glad I got to meet you, she says. Her eyes are so red, but not completely. There's still a little self left. And while it is... Don't worry, I say. I'll be with you soon. She smiles as my words reach her ears. As soon as the elevators touch down, I fire a bullet in number 21's brain. I watch the thing that used to be her tumble to the ground. Stare at the gun I hold in trembling hands, press it to my temple. This will end it. The war, my meaningless existence, all of it. It will finally be over. Unforgivable. Unforgivable. Your comrades sacrifice themselves and fight to the last breath. They feel suffering, they feel sadness, they feel pain and terror. And yet you would surrender now? Unforgivable. The voice of a battlefield curse, telling those who survive to see the mission through no matter what. It is another me crying out. I scream at the top of my lungs and race down the hall. I'll show you. If If you're gonna push me, I'll show you. You'll only be satisfied if it ends with more killing. I leap into the fray with weapons in both hands. Here I am. Kill me. As I scream, an explosion suddenly rises up, swooping everything away. Soft wind touches my cheeks. I smell fire. I smell ash. The explosion in the server room was powerful enough to take out Mount Ka'ala itself, reducing the once proud summit to a smoking crater. The machines immediately drop to the ground and stop moving. I look out over the scorched earth. Lily, number 16. Rose, number 2. Are any of you... Am I the only one left? The only one. I was alive because I had been afraid to die. I began to giggle. It's a mad thing. Crazed even to my own ears. I'll join you soon. I promise to join her soon. How could I have said such vain, laughable words? Such lies. I laugh and stand in the smoke of the flame. I laugh until I think my very throat will turn itself in two. I blink. Daylight drifts through the smoke. I've been standing here all night. My laughter finally depleted. I force myself to my feet. I'm the coward who stayed behind, the coward who lived. Now it's my job to carry on the will of those who fought on my side. Since I cannot kill myself, I have to fight until someone does it for me. I'll endure every hardship. I'll kill every machine I find. This is my cross to bear. I walk slowly to the west, dragging my broken body along. Dang. So yeah, no mention of number 4. Sorry I'm still alive. But I'll be joining you as soon as I finish some things up.